How's it going, film and TV fans? Welcome back to another review here on the Off the Go Film Reviews, and the next instalment in our look back, or my look back, at the Final Destination film franchise. The 5-film franchise that's been going since 2000. It has given us one of the most intriguing set of kills in the franchise, I think, ever, and we're here at Final Destination 2, the sequel to the original that had very few of the creative team from the first one involved, because most of them were off doing their own projects, namely the director and writers were off doing their own projects. So they got completely new directors in, new writers and stuff. And although that's how it was for this film, the next film, Final Destination 3, would have that old creative team come back and be the driving force behind it. But we're talking about Final Destination 2 here today, which is a solid sequel. It's not the worst film in the franchise. It's really quite good, actually, decently. I'd say, you know, for me, it's the first one's the best one, then it's 5, then it's 3, then it's 2, then it's 4. Now, the reason why 3 is higher than this one is because of personal nostalgia, but if it weren't for that, I'd say this is definitely a better movie than the third one if you take that fact away from it. There's some interesting deaths, and again, the practical work, once again, is really good with some of the kills, like a lot of the stuff in the highway sequence at the beginning, that was all done practically, with the burning in the fire, and deaths that you see there were done practically, with again the enhancement of visual effects to make them look, to make certain things look better, but not completely just, you know, overhauling a effect with it. Like, for instance, the wood logs, they tried using real wood logs, but they wouldn't get the bounce they needed, so they kind of just did digital logs, and they don't even look that bad. They actually look really fucking good for 2003, all digital objects. That's pretty cool. And there's the scene where the lady gets her head cut off in the lift. There was basically what they had was a mold of the head, and then when the body falls down, it was actually just a person with a green screen hat, like a green screen full face thing, so they could just green screen the head out. That kind of thing, where it worked really well. And again, I think at least these first two movies, the practical gore effects and the actual practical effects are what really are the driving force behind these movies. And while it is the third one where that kind of goes away a little bit, we'll discuss why when we get to that movie, but here I think the kills are great. Again, Shirley Walker's score, another one of the only people to actually come back from the first one, pretty good as well. It's an all-round just really pretty good movie. I mean, again, characters not exactly the best in the world, but there's some great kills, there's some great sequences as well in the whole movie. I like the airbag kill. For me personally, I think that's one of the better ones, and also the one where the guy gets cut into 4 pieces, where you can very clearly see that it's like he's gotten, because of the way they're using the effects, that he's obviously had to be increased in size a little bit, which is quite funny. But it's a great kill, and this is a pretty solid movie. Again, this franchise is one that I really like because it's quite funny more than anything. It is really a funny franchise. But it's not about it's good to see Clear Rivers back here, and it's also really good to see William Bloodworth again in this movie once more. That's fun. They're fun characters, they have great moments, and unfortunately Clear Rivers dies in this movie, and we are also told that Alex Browning, protagonist in the previous movie, was killed off screen by a fucking rock, which is really fucking stupid, but it is what it is, isn't it? It just really do be what it is, though. And yeah, it's just a solid movie. It has aged fairly well, actually, considering this movie came out in 2003. Yeah, it looks quite, you know, quite modern, which I can really appreciate in a movie like this, to be honest. And that is just why the Final Destination franchise is a really fun one, I think. And again, there's some real creative deaths, and I do like, I almost immediately knew from the moment when you first see the car get hit with the people inside it, and she avoids getting killed, but everyone in the car dies. I was like, so they're gonna do the thing where, because it's the sequel, that death works backwards instead of forwards, which is cool enough. But I did like the twist that I didn't see coming. Well, it wasn't really a twist, but it was one of the things they did with the plot, and it was that everyone who was supposed to die in the accident in this movie wasn't killed. They were supposed to be killed before, but because the people who got off Flight 180, these people didn't die. It's explained much better in the movie, but if you know, you know what I mean. And that's what really is my favourite part about this movie, because it has some really good ways of making the plot be different from the last one, while still being pretty much a direct sequel. Something you really take for granted when we get to the later ones in this franchise. But it's a solid sequel, which is really something of a rarity nowadays, and how even then sometimes sequels were not the greatest thing in the fucking world. Yeah, it's a decent flick. It's a fun movie. And I'd recommend you watch this one, because it's quite fun. It's quite fun. It has, creative kills, creative story choices, and again, William Bubler is the reason why I would recommend everyone watch these movies, because he is just the fucking best character in this whole fucking franchise. Yeah, he's like genuinely amazing character. Fucking hilarious moments, but also genuinely terrifyingly creepy, because Tony Todd has that kind of mannerism about him, and that's really the best part about his character. Yeah, this has been my review of Final Destination 2, a movie I thoroughly enjoy. I think it does great of continuing the franchise from the last movie. And next up is Final Destination 3, released in 2006 and directed by James Wan, returning directors and writers, like I mentioned previously, and again, one that I have a hell of nostalgia for, so I'll be talking about that in a bit of a depth. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and bye bye for now.